Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today we have a full spoiler review discussion thing for chapter 2.02 of The Wandering Inn. So, as I said yesterday's video and a few videos recently, we're in book 2 now. I have been audiobooking this one, so I haven't actually listened ahead from here. Last couple of times I had listened ahead. So this is the latest I've actually read. Let's go through, see what's going on. So basically we ended last week with Pisces saying that the Horns were alive, the Horns of Hammerad, which is pretty good news because I like those characters a lot. And then the next thing that we see is Erin and Ryoka are asking the guards if they'll help rescue the heroes, the Horns of Hammerad. So Zavara, who's the guard captain, who we've met before, but Erin met last week. She's like, actually no, like I'm not going to help you, which is very understandable because they're kind of rebuilding a destroyed city and it's only a few people who aren't citizens. And then she's like, oh no, like we're not going to help. And then Erin's like, well, Relk and Klivich, they can help. And Zavara's like, no, like they're not under any obligation to help non-citizens, and I won't risk losing Klivich again, not after last time. And basically Zavara's like, no, you can't, and I'm not going to help you, and you need to leave, basically, because everyone's annoyed with her because they don't. A lot of the citizens blame the Horns for what happened with the city. And Ryoka's like, well, I'm just going to go. And Erin's like, you're going to go into the super scary ruins by yourself with Pisces. And that's quite funny. And so they decide they're going to go to the Hive. So let's have a look. So yeah, then we get to switch to like a Ryoka POV where she's like, why is Erin so slow? Because it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? Like Ryoka's obviously very fast, like we know that she moves fast, and so she's very annoyed that Erin is like slowing her down. And then they go to see the ants, and they ask if they can have some soldiers, and Klivich is like, no, we can't let the soldiers out. So they can't let the soldiers out unless it's time of war or the city's in danger. And Erin's like, the city is in danger, there might be more stuff in the ruins. And Klivich is like, look, unfortunately this would set too dangerous a precedent, so I can't do it. And then he gets Kissenveer to go. He's like, look, I'm not going with you, but Kissenveer, you go and protect her in Solstice. There's a bit as well where Ryoka overhears Klivich softly say, protect her, and those she travels with, her life is more important than yours. If she's harmed or dies, I will see you deconstructed. So Klivich obviously doesn't like Kissenveer. And then Kershia is like, I can't help you. So they go to Kershia next. Kershia's like, I can't help you. I'm waiting for my tribe, so maybe if you wait a few days, then we'll go. And they're like, look, you know, they've been down in these ruins for days. They could be starving. They might not have food and water. Even if they're alive or unharmed, they might, you know. And then Erin buys a frying pan from her, a sturdy cast iron frying pan, which I assume she's going to be using as a weapon. I feel like, honestly, like it's like a good joke that she likes to fight people with frying pans, but she probably could have done better with like a mace or just a big club, you know, like maybe a club would be better here, Erin, just saying. I mean, like, you don't have to have a sword, but like I do think a club would have been better. And then Koshi's like, no, I'm waiting for my tribe, blah, blah, blah. And Ryoka's like, Ryoka puts two and two together and she's like, actually, your tribe was all murdered. And she talks to her about it. And she talks to her about how she found the group of dead gnolls on the road to Liskor. And I can't remember. I feel like in the rewritten chapter, Ryoka saw Ghazi kill them. But yeah, she says, she basically says, you know, I suspect that Ghazi killed the tribesman. And Koshi is pretty sad about this, obviously. But Ghazi is, you know, her own whole thing. And then there's a bit where it goes, the bow is strung. So yeah, it looks like Kershia is. Let's have a look. Don't know if Kershia is going with them, or if she's going to try and kill Ghazi. But she like gets her bow and steps out of the shop, and then it says she raised her head to the sky and began to howl. So obviously she's pretty mad. I'd be interested to see if the people in the tribe were people that were like very closely important to Kershia. Like, were they her, you know, sons, husband, partner, brothers? Interesting to hear more about that. I feel like that they might have said cousins or something in the past, but you know, it's hard to be 100% sure when it's something I read ages ago. Then we move over to Selith, and Selith is like, look, Erin, I know this is important to you, but like no one is going to go in the ruins because of what came out of the ruins. And she's like, other adventurers are trapped in there, comrades in arms, that sort of thing, saying no one will help. And the Selith goes, all the best human adventurers went down with the Horns of Hammerad, and the ones who are left, well, they're just smarter than that. It's one of the Drakes who says he's smarter than that. And there's very much a feeling of like the adventurers like, we're not going because we know we'll die, or like the threat's too great. Very, you know, selfishly, whatever. And then Ryoka calls them cowards and says if you don't want to be adventurers, you should throw away your swords and be runners, which is quite funny. Let's have a look. And then nothing really comes of it. Nothing really comes of it, but like a fight almost breaks out between Ryoka and the adventurer. And then they're like, the next bit is like, they've basically got no reinforcements, so it's just Pisces, Erin, Ryoka, and Kissenvir. And she's like, there's a point in this chapter where Erin and Ryoka talk about Erin going, and they're like, and she's like, why are you coming? And Erin's like, well, they're my friends. She's got her frying pan now. She's got her healing potions, food and water. Going to the inn. They talk a bit about Ghazi. And she's like, oh, you met Ghazi? And he goes, yeah, she was at my inn. She helped me out when I first met her. She was nice. And then there's a lot of like, here we go. And she goes like, oh, I don't know it was Ghazi, but then like didn't see it or anything. But Ryoka says, it was her. I can't explain it, but each of those the gnolls that died was beheaded with a single cut. And Erin's like, oh, she has a really sharp sword. So they go back to the inn. Ryoka judges Erin for being out of breath and sweaty walking back to the inn. And then Torin meets Ryoka, and Torin's like getting his sword out, and Ryoka starts to try and fight him almost, and then they stop. And then they decide to take Torin. They're going to take Torin with them to the ruins, and then the goblins turn up, and Erin kind of pitches to Rags and is like, "I need your help." And then then she looks at Erin, and Rags just shakes her head, and it's quite funny. Erin's like, "Look, they're in trouble. You can help. You've got a sword and your tribe. We need you, Rags." And she does this appeal, and she's like, "Oh, remember Cheeria, remember Calruse?" And Rags basically isn't interested. And then Erin, it says here, her patience finally ran out and she snapped. And she picks Rags up, and Rags like shouts at her. But Erin's just like, "Look, you know, you owe me. I fed you, I gave you help, I gave you a sword and shield, I made Pisces teach you magic, and I already helped saving my friends." And then, you know, she kicks her, Rags kicks her, and then she basically, as she's about, like, Rags looks like she's about to draw a sword, and then Erin just like lifts her upside down and shakes her, which is quite funny. And then she goes, "I'm not going to stop until you say yes, say it." And she tries to bite and punch, but doesn't get her. And it says, Erin whirled Rags around by the legs in a circle. And then Ryoka's like, "Oh, I did that when I was a kid with my dad," which is funny. Eventually Rags is like, "Okay, fine, I'll help." And then Erin goes, "Run away and I'll throw a rock at you, and you know I'll hit you," which is quite funny. And because like, Erin didn't seem like she was the athletic type. Ryoka seriously doubted she'd ever played baseball, maybe softball at best, but she didn't seem like the competitive type, which is funny because obviously she's very competitive when it comes to chess. Yeah, so it looks like, where are we? The goblins are now involved. Torin is going to carry the stuff. And then Erin's like, the goblins killed Skinner, and no one believes her. And she's really annoyed that no one believes her, which is quite funny. And then they meet Pisces at the dirty ruins, and Kissenveer is there. And Kissenveer is like, "It would seem more prudent for you to remain behind, Jaren Solstice. You're no warrior, and the ruins are dangerous." And then Kissenveer is like, "Look, okay, fine," because she says no, she's going in. And Kissenveer is like, "Fine, but remain behind me at all times." And then he goes, "You've chosen an unusual group." And then Erin goes, "No one else would come." So that's quite funny. They're wondering why they've not had any more messages from inside. But Pisces is like, well, something could be blocking Cheeria, or her mana might be low. So then they find out the guards won't let them in. And then, where are we? So like, no one goes in or out. And then he goes, "No one goes in or out, Zavara's orders." And then they go, "Oh, she knows we're going in." "She does? She does." And then Kissenveer's like, "Oh, let's not break the law, you know," because obviously he's like terrified Erin's going to get hurt. Then Erin like has a go, basically. Where are we? And she goes, "Oh, the Erin narrows her eyes. You'll let us in, or what? Or I'll hurt you." The Drake stared at Erin. She stared at him. And then, like, obviously he's very tall. He has a spear. He has 19 guardsmen with him. Erin had the frying pan. And then it said, but he'd remembered where Skinner had died. And he had danger sense too. The look in Aaron's eyes made him reconsider his next words. And then he's like, oh, I'll send word to the city if you'll wait. And then Aaron pushes him, and it says, it almost ran into a sharpened wall of stakes. Aaron stomped past him without another word, and the others followed. And Ryoka stared open-mouthed at her back and then hurried to catch up. So that's quite funny. Pisces and Ryoka cast light spells, and Rags as well. And then there's 3 orbs of light fluttering around. And then basically they start going in. Kisinvir says he wants to scout ahead, but Aaron's like, no, we have to stay together. And then Aaron just starts walking off, and they're all like, okay, fine, I guess we have to go. And this is a good line. A dirty necromancer, a goblin, an undead skeleton, the progenitor of an Antinium hive, an innkeeper, and a city runner walked into the ruins. Sounded like the beginning of a joke, but what would the punchline be? So that was funny. And then Ghazi sat with her back to a slope several hundred meters away. Her main eye pointed into the back of her head as she tracked the progress of the strange group as they descended into the ruins. And it says here, by primary classes they were level 12 warrior Antinium, level 27 necromancer with mage class levels. So obviously Pisces is really strong, because I feel like we've heard that a lot of characters are in their 20s and they're like some of the most powerful characters. And then level 8 warrior, level 6 mage, and level 10 tactician goblin. And then we have, so that might be Rags. Is she all 3? She's triple class. And then a level 11 skeleton warrior carrying a ruby enchanted with terror. So that is Skinner's ruby that thingy Torin has kept and is hiding inside his skull, which is interesting. And then it goes a level 18 innkeeper human and a level-less runner human. And this is really interesting. But then Ghazi's like, oh, she could work on it while she waited for them to come back out. She had plenty of time. She could hardly wait. She was patient, had been patient, but now Ghazi was buzzing with anticipation. She polished her sword, humming quietly, waiting. A tightly sealed scroll with a glowing rune etched into a wax seal sat in the grass next to her. It was finally time to go home. So what that seems like to me is that Ghazi has had a message from, I believe Floss was his name, the King of Destruction. I could be very wrong. So she's had a message from the King of Destruction, who is her master, to go home. So that's going to stymie Kershia's need for revenge somewhat, but very interesting development story-wise. I'm already looking forward to going back into the ruins and getting some more action. I know people have said in the comments like, oh, Pirate Arbor's action isn't their strong suit, but I actually have felt that they've been very good at it so far, especially in the final chapters of book 1. Obviously that is Pirate Arbor multiple years after they wrote book 2, so the action could be lower quality, but we'll find out. I mean, we're going to see some next week, I'm sure. I'd like to see Cheeria back. Cheeria is probably my favourite. Cheeria and Calruz, I guess, were like my favourites from the Horns, and it seems like they'll probably be around. And then Olesm, obviously, we need back because he's a fun character. So, yeah, hopefully we get all of those back next week or soon, I guess. It's probably too quick to wrap up that whole ruins thing where they've spent in a chapter when they spent an entire chapter just trying to recruit people to go down. But yeah, good chapter this week. It's very funny seeing like everyone like thinks of Erin as like the hero who saved the city or whatever, but like no one wants to help her still. She's not, ingratiated herself with that community. So yeah, another good chapter. There's quite a lot of events in this chapter, so I think I spent most of this video just reading through what the events of the chapter were and talking about them. But I feel like I don't know what you guys like the most about these videos. Do you like me doing the like blow by blow sort of recap that I've done in most of this, or if you like do you like it when I give more time over to my thoughts and impressions on the chapter? If the thoughts and impressions are the most important or the most liked, then maybe that will be the stuff that I focus on, and I'll stop going over the kind of blow by blow. Then you'd get shorter videos. So, I mean, it's up to you guys, really. If you don't like, maybe just say in the comments below if you don't like the blow by blow. But if you like the blow by blow, we'll keep going. Anyway, let me know in the comments what your favourite parts are about the videos, what you like, anything about this chapter you want to discuss. I haven't actually got to the comments from yesterday because I was so busy yesterday. I actually recorded that a couple of days in advance. But I will get to those comments at some point soon. Please do keep leaving them, as the more comments you leave, the more it tells YouTube that you enjoy the video. Please also give it a like. That also massively helps the video series perform and gets more people to see the series, and then hopefully we can either grow the community we have over here or also grow the people reading Wandering Inn. Maybe people will see it and go like, oh, what's this about? And of course, subscribe to the channel because every subscription helps, and I can see when people subscribe specifically from Wandering Inn videos. I haven't actually tracked that yet. I probably should, but yeah, let me know if you subscribe or anything. That'd be fantastic. We're so close to 800 subs right now. We're like 6 or 7 subs away last time I checked, so that's kind of mad. 800 is a pretty big number, but looking forward to seeing more people in the community, the more people in the comments, and we can have more fun conversations. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.